Welcome to Regent Park TV, I'm Samuel. This month, as communities mark Truth and Reconciliation, we are turning our focus to realities Indigenous children and families face in Toronto. The impacts of residential schools and child welfare policies continue across generations, leaving trauma, displacement, and barriers to culturally safe supports. Here in Regent Park and downtown East Toronto, many Indigenous families live with these challenges every day. Native Child and Family Services of Toronto is one of the agencies responding to these realities. Founded in the 1980s by First Nations and Métis community members, the agency is child-centered, family-focused, and community-driven. Their programs are rooted in culture, respect, supporting families, well-being, healing, and resilience. RPTV visited their recent open house at 185 Carlton Street and 30 College Street. Families explored holistic support programs, enjoyed Indian tacos, and visited the Mooka'am community art show, themed Strength in Our Ancestors. The exhibit showcased the power of art in healing and identity. Adrian Cocking explained how art has become a pathway for community members to reclaim courage, identity, and healing.
My name's Adrian Cocking. I am the senior clinician at the Mooka'am clinic here at Native Child and Family Services. So I'm a therapist. I work with families, I work with kids, I do a lot of trauma therapy. And a few years ago, I was seeing a lot of incredible art that our community members were making. And I thought, this is a great opportunity for us to showcase, some of our art to the community and for people to gain self-confidence and have pride in their work. So this year's theme is Strength in Our Ancestors. And so people can do artwork that's inspired by that, or just do something that they enjoy. And we have everything from painting to crocheting to beading to photography. The people that participate in this are people who are accessing support through Native Child and Family Services. So a lot of the folks here are accessing, counseling support, different kinds of groups, healing supports, and the artwork is often, I think, an avenue for self-expression, for exploring their healing, so they can show what they've learned about themselves in their art. I find it really inspiring, actually, because it takes a lot of courage to make art, and also to share it with other people, because there's a vulnerability to that. So I think it's a lot about identity and a lot about people saying, this is who I am as an Indigenous person. This location we really enjoy. It's a historic home, and it has particular significance to the Indigenous community because I believe it was owned by a pair of doctors who offered this house as kind of a shelter for urban Indigenous folks that were first coming to the city, as long as like 150 years ago. So there's that significance. And also as a healing space, it's an old home. So it provides a kind of warmth. A lot of the rooms have fireplaces, as you might be able to see. And people feel comfortable here. So I like to think of it, when people are coming for their session, it does have a bit of a homey feel. It puts people more at ease, and especially if it's their first time, because coming in for therapy can be vulnerable. But a lot of people have responded well to the space, so we hope that we can have it for as long as we can.
At the same location, Charlene Avalos, who has been with Native Child and Family Services in Toronto since 1989, reflected on the agency's beginnings and the principles that continue to shape it. She emphasized that truth and reconciliation is rooted in Indigenous worldviews and values, guiding how services are delivered to families and youth today.
Thank you for coming to our art show. My name is Charlene Avalos, and I've been with the agency since 1989 when we first opened our doors for operation. We were in a basement at number 2 College Street, and we never knew what time of day it was because we had no windows. Everybody smoked in those days, and so you always left smelling like an ashtray. But it was really good days. There were 4 frontline social workers. Our supervisor was an elder, Herb Nabagon, and our executive director was Ken Richard. And Herb Nabagon was very instrumental. He was an Ojibwe man from Pic-Mobert, First Nations, and he taught us about the medicine wheel, which really was is a model that we followed over many, many years. And the medicine wheel, the way that he taught it is that it's living within inside of us. And so in order to bring the spirit of this agency, because everything needs to come through spirit according to his teachings, we needed to go out for 4 days and 4 nights and fast. And so, in fact, we went out, I think it was the beginning of September in 1989, and we camped out in somebody's field in individual tents, and we went without food or water for 4 days. And I'd like to say it was an easy thing, but it was really, really difficult. But as a result of it, we formed a very strong bond amongst each other, and that was really the beginning of the inception of Native Child. And then over the years, we have developed mainly treatment, healing, and intervention-focused programs to help the community in downtown Toronto, the Indigenous community in Toronto and in Scarborough and Mount Dennis. And then in 2004, we became mandated as a child welfare agency. And I think that it really sort of created a bit of discord between traditional ways of intervention and way of being, and then more of the mainstream. But we've worked really hard over the last 15, 20 years to balance that out and do child welfare in a really different way than what has happened historically, and which wasn't a great thing. So basically, you know, I oversee the holistic healing department, and we have a very large group of people working just in holistic. There's 46 of us. In total, Native Child now has over 200 people working, staff. We have healing and treatment programs, case management, advocacy, housing, transitional housing, daycare, early ons, an array of different services to really wrap around families and promote healing and health and well-being. You know, Truth and Reconciliation has been a long time coming. I'm glad that it is here. I do see, though, in some ways that it's starting to wane, and that people really need to make a concerted effort, that really understanding the Indigenous worldview is really what set the foundation of a Truth and Reconciliation. It's not just about ceremony, although ceremony is really important, or, you know, powwow dancing. It's really about values and a way of looking at the world that's quite different than a colonial capitalist perspective. And as many of the elders and traditional knowledge keepers teach, it's like the history of the planet really needs those values and those teachings. And I think that that's what really Truth and Reconciliation is about. It's about raising people's consciousness and looking at things from a different perspective, understanding how important interconnection is and how we're connected to what's happening in the world, to the water, to people in Gaza. We're witnessing today, you know, genocide of another kind. So it's really important. I think that there's a lot of learning there, and it's really up to everybody to go and get the teachings and the learnings they want. And as for Every Child Matters, well, you know, that's what this agency is all about.
Randy Budd, housing supervisor, shared how advocacy services help families access stable housing, tenant rights, and community supports, creating security for youth and adults.
Could you tell me about the importance of the housing program you provide here to Indigenous communities and families?
It's strongly, very important. It really helps our community build, for a better future, and hopefully, you know, our ultimate goal is to put people in a better place where they have stable housing, right? So they can come in, they can be homeless, and we have, certain capabilities where we can assist with either arrears, first and last, and from ages 16 to 29, provide shelter for them as well. So they can come to Native Child and Family Services here, and they'll be introduced to one of our housing support workers, and we will immediately assess and see where they're at, and see what needs are needed, and direct them in the proper direction, right? So either through supports with our team, or we will, put them towards one of our shelters and or transitional houses if they fit the criteria.
Natalia from the Holistic team spoke about guiding families through complex challenges, from mental health support to specialized programs for survivors of human trafficking.
Yeah, so I'm a concurrent disorder service coordinator here at Native Child, and in our table we have Holistic Team 1 and the clinical services. We have the Holistic Team number 4, there is the Anti-Human Trafficking team, and I'm part of the Holistic Team 2. We have school board clinicians, we have youth and mental health workers, and concurrent disorder service coordinators. We provide case management to youth, adults, and kids. And we have the Holistic Team 4, which is the Anti-Human Trafficking team 2. And the clinical services, we have the Mooka'am team. They provide counseling services to our community members. It's important we provide support for families, children, youth. And the important thing is that we advocate for our community members. We advocate to get the services that they request. We accompany them to walk their healing journey, their sobriety journey. And our goal is to make the difference in the community.
Native Child also offers Ninoshi program with aunties supporting families like extended mothers. At CAMH Powwow, a vibrant Indigenous celebration of life, Native Child had a booth where we met Brianna, supervisor of Aboriginal Head Start programs.
My name is Brianna. I am the supervisor of the Aboriginal Head Start programs. So we have 4 programs within Toronto. We have 2 locations in the West End over at Jane and Weston area. And then we have 1 location in Scarborough at our Scarborough Child Family Life Center hub. And then we have another location downtown in a TDSB school. So within our program, we're focused on the 6 components of Head Start. Our 6 components of Head Start are school readiness, education, language, so specifically Ojibwe in this area, and but we do try to bring in other children's cultures as much as possible based on the territory that they're from. Also, cultural revitalization, school readiness, I think I said that one, and parental involvement. So historically, we've always had a parent council where the parents take part in programming and workshops and being hands-on in their child's learning. We believe in our children, our Benojis, to have a love for lifelong learning. So love what I do. And then this table is just a bit of our programming within Native Child, so including the early on supports for pregnant mothers expecting or just given birth. There's also father programming that we have. And I also have our program manual here, which really specifies on the land experiences and utilizing our 7 grandfather teachings in the 13 moons for everything that we do within our cultural spaces. I think it's really beneficial. There's obviously a stigma of being connected with a child welfare agency, and I completely understand where that comes from. As an Indigenous woman myself, I get it. But there are people out there for the reasons of holistic supports and being there for our families in our community and doing it from the inside out. So I think us regaining those connections and that community aspect is one of the most important things to what we do. Still coming out and being brave and showing courage and our truth and honesty and all of those teachings to provide the best supports we can.
For Regent Park and surrounding communities, their work shows reconciliation isn't just about history, it's about actively supporting families nurturing, resilience, and strengthening community. Thank you for watching Regent Park TV. I'm Samuel.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on social media, and for more information, check out our website.